Ladies and gentlemen, gather round for a tale that's as new as it's old, that's as old as it's new, that's been many times told and still speaks true.
I think it was probably about 5 years ago that Pat Ronetsky had the idea that within the sculpture trail of 2011 that we should include a mystery play, and the title of that was The Journey, which coincided with that of the sculpture trail. So we commissioned, that's the Bergh Apton Community Arts Trust, commissioned Hugh Lupton to write Noah, A Mighty Water. And following on from that, he came up with the thought that he'd always had the ambition to write the legend of the Rood. And so we got together about 3 years ago, what would be 2000, well, soon after the sculpture trail, with him and one or two people, Liz, my wife, and Kevin Parfitt, and decided that this was an interesting subject to take forward. We had no idea how we were going to cope with it, because we knew from the start that what Hugh wanted was a very large number of actors. And so we developed that, and in the end I think we came to about 60 or so actors and musicians, all from the local community. And when I say that, I mean the 10 or 12 villages in the immediate vicinity of Bergh Apton.
I think probably the main theme of the play is being lost and being found. It starts with the Garden of Eden and the loss of paradise, and then you have Noah and the world at sea, and then you have Moses and the being lost and the return to the land of milk and honey, and then you have the story of the New Testament, which ends with the kind of possibility of the return to paradise. I think that was how the story is actually a medieval legend, kind of playing with the episodes of the Bible. So you have this idea of the seed from the Garden of Eden planted under Adam's tongue, which becomes a tree, which becomes the mast of Noah's Ark, which is planted again and becomes Moses' rod, and then it becomes the temple for the beam for the temple in Jerusalem, and then finally the wood of the cross.
It was a really challenging production because we had to work with people from lots of different villages, many of whom hadn't met each other before. So we ended up with a great big audition back in January, and we had over 50 people come along, and in about an hour we had to try and cast the whole of the 4 plays. So it was, you know, really quite hard just to juggle all those names and faces in quite a short space of time.
Yeah, the writing process. I had this template of the legend of the Rood, and also I was rereading all the medieval mystery plays and trying to make something which had the humour and also the sort of contemporary, the sense of it all happening here and now, not sort of some imagined North Africa. It's actually, I wanted it to be very English in its mood and its references and its landscape.
We had to try and keep the audience engaged for the whole of the day, and you know, that's quite a feat for any theatre director really. But I think the fact that we had 4 different plays meant that there were 4 different stories, there were breaks in between them, we had the audience walking from one to the other, and we also had musicians playing as kind of travelling minstrels, leading them around, so it broke it up. And also Hugh Lupton, the writer, included quite a lot of humour. I tried to bring in quite a lot of visual elements so that the whole thing was quite lively.
Engaging the audience is the challenge of writing a play. So again, you know, I was trying to fill it with humour, with audience engagement, give it a sense of fun and sometimes a bit bawdy. You know, that's in the nature of the medieval plays, and I wanted to kind of update that.
There are about 5 or 6 locations, so the play doesn't take place just in one place. And we spent some time picking these out, places including the church and the garden of the manor house and also a dell. And we looked at this for quite some time until we've found what we felt was the right dell and the right scene to go in it. So each of the plays and the scenes were tailored to each of the locations.
I think the other area that I'm pleased about is that in terms of the Christian element, we've included members of many different denominations and playing God, in addition to the local team of Liz Robinson and Wendy Shaw and Ben Turner. We've been so lucky to get the Roman Catholic bishop, the head of the Methodists and the chief Anglican. So overall I think we've been extremely lucky. But we've also been supported financially by a lot of people, and most particularly the Arts Council. One of the exciting things has been getting all these people, many of whom had never met each other before, together to do a common project. And it really brought and brings community home, what community really is all about, which is opportunities for people to get to know each other more in a relaxed way and over a period. And I think it's achieved something in that.